It says we're live on Facebook.
Good times. This will be a lot of fun.
I need like a second screen and my phone so I can like see you, seek some questions.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay, it looks like we're on live now, Ashlyn. So I'm like super excited to have you on here. It's really great to have the privilege of actually having your husband Wallace on on Monday. And so now, as a great treat for everybody, we get the second or the other half, not second half, but the other half of the dynamic duo that helps keep things going at our company. And Ashlyn, I've known you for a couple of years, since you got together with Wallace, and I've had the benefit of having him as a friend for a while, and now you since you guys are together. For those of us that don't know you yet, can you tell us a little bit about your role at Beneficial?
Yeah, so at Beneficial, what I primarily oversee is helping our fitness and beauty influencers with their product and supplement lines. We do everything from product development to making sure that when it actually is out on the marketplace, that we're helping them continue to fulfill their products and also help market with them.
That's awesome. Now, given that, what's your professional and your work background? Again, I know, some of us know a little bit, don't know a whole lot. So what was your background? What kind of got you up to this point?
So I actually started doing hair about 17 years ago. And if you do the math, like I am old enough to have done hair for 17 years. That always ages me. But in the process of that, I also taught at Salt Lake Community College, which was a local community college that also had a cosmetology barbering program, in addition to an aesthetics program. So I taught for 7 years, and 3 years of that I actually taught within the aesthetics program. So I'm fairly well versed between all areas of the industry. And then I also owned a chain of children's hair salons for a couple of years as well. So everything from being behind the chair, leaning over the bed, to actually running the business aspect of it.
That's awesome. So how do you feel it kind of, prepared you as far as, getting into your current role to help business? I mean, I obviously a lot of, having your own actual professional experience is certainly helpful. So how do you feel that helped kind of define and help you doing what you're doing now?
The interesting part is none of it was skill related. I feel like I learned how to network and communicate and connect with people on a different level than most people do. And so I just think learning how to network and understand people and where they're coming from and what their goals are is what's helped me now transition to working with fitness and beauty influencers. Because at the end of the day, everyone is just wanting to serve in this industry.
That's awesome. So I know a lot of our viewers here are successful, and some are even beginning female entrepreneurs, which really makes up the bulk of the spa and wellness business. What have you seen over the past few years regarding the growth of female entrepreneurship?
Oh my gosh, it is exploding, and it makes my heart like so happy because a little bit more about my background. Some of you might know I went through a divorce about 9 years ago, which left me literally broke and broken, financially broke and emotionally broken. And I say that like jokingly now because I've gone through the process of healing through that whole journey. But it has just made me so much more compassionate towards women and their goals, and more understanding of every aspect in someone trying to run a business. Like, it's not easy being a mom and running a business. It's not easy being a spouse, a wife, a partner of any sort and running a business. Like, there is a whole new level of pressure that comes on with it, and women that are willing to like stand up and fight for that and be on the front lines to grow something, like that just like makes my heart happy.
I think that's really awesome. So I guess, to go forward here, given the business climate for salon, spas, wellness centers right now, what can people do to kind of hone their own skill to move forward in this new climate that we're working on?
I think the first instinct people had was to panic, which, okay, we've all panicked. We need to move on from that. And it was actually, this will all tie together in a second, but I was actually doing a treadmill run this morning that was like a Peloton run. And the instructor on there said, what you feed, you'll fuel. And there was something in that that just like sparked in me that right now more than ever, whatever we feed, we are going to fuel. So if that's our anxiety, like you're going to fuel it and it's going to be like over the moon. So now that we've moved past that, I think the biggest thing we need to do is take a step forward and go, what can we actually still be doing to progress and move our business forward?
Awesome. So I guess, knowing what as far as being a female entrepreneur yourself, building this and having a really good insight into the whole dynamic change of what's going on in business and giving what your current role is. How do you feel that the Melissa affiliate program kind of fits into that? And then maybe what advantage does it provide to that female entrepreneur that's running a business right now?
I think the Melissa affiliate program is like a hidden blessing for so many. It gives you an opportunity to take what you already know and put it online and start putting it out there in front of people without actually having to financially invest in yourself. I look at the current situation of the pandemic we're in. I'm going as a single mom 7, 8, 9 years ago. I felt like my life was in crisis always. I felt like I was in that pandemic mindset always. And if I would have known that there was a way for me to be selling my products online, that would have been a game changer, because I knew nothing different than getting on and doing an Insta story about tanning lotion, which we all know is terrible for your skin. And that's what I was doing. So I was going to the supply house physically. I was buying 15 bottles at a time because that's all they actually carried. And then I would get on my Instagram and start selling it. And then I would have to ship it to that person, which would take me another 30 minutes to go out and like package it all up and drive to the post office and then ship it. Half the time it gets returned because they don't like liquids in the mail or whatever it is. And that's what I love about the Melissa affiliate program. Like, you can sell all day long and never touch a thing. And there's no limits to you. Like, I was limited to every 2 weeks I could sell 15 bottles because that's all they could get in inventory.
Right. Yeah. So it's great. They get to use the advantage of having a company's inventory at their fingertips and not have to fund it, which is really awesome. So I guess, so, we've got this affiliate program. Obviously we know, the climate is changed and probably will be different going forward, without really exactly knowing that all the outcomes that are going to come forward. So, and I know that, we've got some entrepreneurs out there that they definitely still have some fears about getting on social media. So for anyone who's not really has dove into this area yet, what should they do to start?
I think the first thing is always remember it's about them, not you. I think it's really scary to pick up our cell phone and sit here and talk to it like this, because we're thinking about like, what are they going to think about me? What's David thinking on the other side? They're probably thinking you're crazy. Who cares? Because it's the person that thinks that, they're not who you're talking to. It's the person that sees that on the other line and goes, oh my gosh, David's right. I do need this in my life. This is going to help me. This is going to serve me. This is going to provide something that I need that I don't have right now. And that's what's important. So it's always about them. It's not about you.
That's awesome. So I guess on the side of that, so how did you really then determine, just to kind of expand on that a little bit, how did you determine really what to talk about?
So I had a really great mentor that taught me a few valuable things. So I'll share those with you. First is to be vulnerable. Share your own personal experiences, especially and second, I would say find what you're best at. Don't try to talk about weight loss if you're not great at talking about weight loss. Talk about skincare. If skincare is your jam, like I love weight loss, but like I am passionate about skincare. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So be vulnerable, and then find like, what are you an expert at? And if you don't think you're an expert at something, learn to become that expert.
That's fantastic. So do you have any like resources or maybe something they should, that our audience should kind of watch to learn a little bit about how to do that? I know, some of us learn by reading, some of us learn by listening, and most of us learn by watching. Is there the resource they can go to kind of watch to learn about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I think we already have resources at our fingertips that we don't even realize we have. A lot of us are already following people that are promoting weight loss or skincare or nutrition or wellness. Start modeling what those people are doing. Don't copy, because nobody likes a copycat. Like, copying's not cool, but go model what they're doing. I do that constantly. I'll see somebody that's talking about service, and I'm like, how can I take their post or story about service that like lit me up and made me smile? Like, how can I turn that into like something in my business to provide service? Or if they're talking, let's talk about a mask, a skincare mask. Some influencers promoting the skincare mask, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I want to swipe up. Like, step back and go, what did they do and how did they engage with me to want to transition to that purchase? And really, you can do it with anybody that you follow that has a good following that makes you go, oh, wait, I want that. Just step back and look at it from the consumer standpoint. And what did you hear? What did you feel? They're preying, and I say pray, that's not a negative thing. They're preying on something within you that sparks you and makes you light up to go, I want that, or I need that. Mm-hmm. And if you look closely, it's normally vulnerability. There's something within you that makes you feel a little bit vulnerable, going, oh, I might need that, or oh, that would make me feel better. And emotion. So emotion, logic, vulnerability, like those are the things that they're sparking within you.
Awesome. So, and again, it's, I know with, getting into social media, I can remember, back when your husband Wallace first had me start doing some of these, I was like not cool with it at all. And I know like one of the fears that I had, and I'm sure that a lot of other people have this too, is just kind of having this fear of messing up. So what can you share with our audience? And again, I know, this is obviously something that you went through early on, having some reservations. What you can tell our audience to kind of quell their fears as they reach out and start to try to do this?
Yeah, I still have those like anxiety moments, or like I hide from my family when I'm doing a story, or if Wallace replays my stories and I can hear my voice, I'm like, stop. So like, don't think that will ever go away, because I don't think it does for anyone. But you just have to start doing it. I would challenge each and every one of you, as crazy as it sounds, to do at least 60 seconds of stories. So that's like 10-second stories. That's all I'm asking for every single day. And I know that sounds crazy, but all these social media platforms have algorithms. And if you're not consistently publishing content, they just kind of like push you to the side, and they're like, oh, this person's not that important. When it's like, no, I really have something important to share. And what I really love is you don't need a big following to make a difference. Like, if you have 50 or 100 true followers that believe in everything you do because you've held their hand through the process, like, you've got an incredibly successful business on your hands. And it's something that you can transition the majority of it to online, where we're forced to right now. That I think it's going to just help you through that process. But you don't need, I have people ask all the time, they're like, I need 10,000 followers, I need 15,000 followers. And it's like, you don't. You need 50 to 100 true believers, and you've got a successful online business going for you, especially with the Melissa affiliate program.
That's awesome. Thanks for that insight on that. That really helps a lot, I think.
And you really just have to get out there and do it. Like, and I'm sure you like, we love David, and we've given him some critical feedback because he'll take it. And one of the things is like, when you've probably experienced this, is like, you first get on and you're like, you record yourself and you're like, I look stupid, and then you delete it. Then you record yourself again, you're like, I messed up, and so you delete it.
Yeah.
People don't care. And honestly, like, I say this all the time, people, like, the more enthusiastic you are, like the more excited you are, people will like follow that, and they accept that energy and they feel that energy. But when you get on there and someone's like talking and they're just like, I don't know, the sky is blue, like there's flowers outside, like nobody cares. But when you're like, oh my gosh, you guys, do you see the weather outside? Like the sky is so blue and the flowers are blue. Like, that's what gets people excited. And you almost feel like, and I don't want you to be fake, because I do think it needs to be genuine, but you have to like amplify your personality to get it to come through the screen. Otherwise, you just kind of feel like, nah.
Yeah, I get that. Like our friend Russell, one of the things that he talks about is just, and you see it in his videos, it's just so enthusiastic. And I think that's a great point, Ashlyn. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And someone who knows Russell personally, like when you see him in person, he's like, hey, how are you? But when he gets on video, he's like, hey, this is Russell Brunson. And you're like, oh, hi. Like, but we need that pattern interrupt so that people acknowledge it. Otherwise, you just feel like every other person. And that's where you get like that blind scroll swipe going on. We've all done it at 9 o'clock at night. We're just like, we're not even looking or paying attention. We just keep swiping.
Right. Yeah, that definitely happens. So I guess, to get a little bit more granular, and again, this is something that, so many of our professionals, they're used to being in spa, very intimate, having conversations with people. How can they, kind of translate that into connecting with their current clients and audience today? I know that you've kind of answered this for the most part, but just to get a little bit granular as far as, kind of making that connection via Facebook.
Yeah. I think it's actually easier done than you realize. First thing I would do is, if you don't already, create a Facebook group for your spa or salon. Make sure that you already have an Instagram page. But then as you have these conversations, ask them to private message you. Ask them to like go offline with you, because I'm sure most of you, and if you don't have this problem, like good for you, can handle the weight of those people messaging you directly. I would say avoid giving them personal contact information, because people tend to use and abuse that. So make sure that you're keeping it within your social media platforms. But you can have those intimate one-on-one conversations through direct messaging, or you can do a Facebook Messenger live with them. You can get on a Zoom call with them. I did personal training for a lot of years online. I never actually met with those clients one-on-one, but we got one-on-one on a video call once a week. And that's what made the difference, because that's where the physical connection came from. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in your studio, behind the chair, in the spa. You can do all of that through this networking connection right here, which I would encourage you to do. Anything that you were doing physically in your salons or spas, write down the framework and process you took your client through, and figure out how are you going to transition that onto a digital platform. And if you get stuck, honestly, like message me and reach out, and I am happy to help. I would encourage you all to be posting these questions within the Melise group, because what I love is we're all doing the same thing, but someone that comes to me for a service is not going to go to David for a service, or if David was in a spa or salon, right? Or to our cute Alex. Like, we all have such different, unique personalities that we're attracted to different people. Like, I'm a tough love person. When I work with a client, like, there's no BS. Where other people can like handle a little bit of the excuses, they kind of soft play them, they work through that emotion. I'm like, none of that. So there's a lot of people that would go to David that would absolutely hate me, and that's okay. So that's why I would encourage you to share your processes that you can come up with on how to take your company digitally and through these social media platforms, because you have so much to offer each other that you don't need to hold it. That's one thing I love about the people we work with in our marketing space. They literally tell us everything they do about their multi-million-dollar companies, because they know I can't replicate what they're doing. Like, you are you, and nobody else can be that.
That's great. So I mean, that really helps clarify quite a bit. One of the things too is that we see this happen pretty often as people are starting to kind of tiptoe into doing some social media marketing. And I see a lot of people, they reshare posts, and it's kind of like hey, buy from me, please. I'm a business owner. Almost kind of like begging for business. And so maybe fill us in a little bit on why that approach doesn't work, number one. And then the second part of that is how can they go about creating some of their own content?
Yeah. So the first part of buy from me, that just always looks yucky, right? Because there's no emotional connection. I'm just going, David, I want you to give me $1. Like, I don't really care about you. Like, I don't even know you. Like, I just want $1. And that's just never going to work. So what I would always suggest to do is offer value. The more value you can give away for free, the more money you will make in return. And I know that like sounds really scary and weird, but if you notice, like with the videos we post, we tell you everything about greens. We tell you everything about antioxidants. Why? Because if you're already consuming a greens or an antioxidant, and we've told you everything, you're going to go look at the bottle and go, oh, what he just said shouldn't be in here is in here. And like, it doesn't have this, or it doesn't have that. Same with your skincare, any of our other supplements. Like, people are going to start playing that comparison, and they're going to go, well, I want that stuff that's better. I want that stuff she was talking about. So you're giving them just value, so that in return, sometimes people will start reaching out to you and go, what are you doing? I want to buy it, without even asking. But I always suggest, when you're doing a story and you're actually wanting to direct somewhere, you want to offer what's called a call to action. So I'm going to use MRP, for example. Let's just say tomorrow morning after my workout, I was like, I'm going to hop on there. I'm going to do a quick story, and I'm going to be like, hey guys, I wanted to get on here and share with you about my quick post-workout recovery shake, because I don't know about you, but this homeschooling thing is kicking my butt right now. And I am just short on time, but I know like I need my workouts for my mental clarity and my sanity. Otherwise, my poor kids like get the brunt end of it. So what I do is I just take like 2 scoops of this, toss it in my shaker bottle with some almond milk, and I'm ready to go. I have plenty of energy. I know that I've got my perfectly ratioed protein, carbs, and fats to get me through the next couple hours. And I've got all these minerals and vitamins, and you could go on for an hour if you wanted to, right? But even if I just made a quick 30-second video and I said, if you want to know more about why I use this, like, shoot me a message. That's all you have to do. Like, you will be surprised at how many people will start reaching out to that, just because I'm offering value of letting them know, like, I'm stressed, I don't have time, but I still need to fuel my body with something good. How many people on the other side are hearing that same story? You can use it with skincare. I've got acne, I'm stressed, like this isn't working for me. But I found that if I use this mask 3 times a week, like all of a sudden my skin started clearing up. And if you want to know more about it, like just shoot me a message and I'll explain to you how it works. Like, don't ever ask them to buy from you. Don't ever post your affiliate link in your copy, or unless you're saying like something specific, like, hey, here's my greens because you guys have been asking for it. Post your link there. But anytime you're making a post or a story, just offer the valuable information and ask them to come to you. And then once you know, like, this person wants to buy, then give them your affiliate link.
That's a great way to do it. Again, it's, as I was kind of setting this question up, I see a lot of that, and I think it's as people start to get into it, I think it's a pretty common thing to do, just because we don't know. This is so new to a lot of us getting into this. So I guess for the people who look kind of like a listing, or like an ABC 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. When somebody's doing a Facebook Live or something on Instagram TV, what are the key points that, if you can break it down like that, if you're the mind of that, what are the couple key points if we want to give them like an A to Z kind of a layout?
I would say there's 3 important elements. 1, address their pain point. What pain are they feeling? 2, give them the solution. So if the pain I'm feeling is stress and anxiety because I'm homeschooling my kids, what is a small solution to that? Is it taking some time for self-care, which means putting on a mask and hopping in the bathtub? Like, I could sell a couple clay masks today just by talking about that, right? Is the solution, here's a meal replacement so you don't have to take 20 minutes to make yourself something and then pour your kids a bowl of cereal, because you know what? Sometimes kids eat cereal. Like, give them the solution to their problem. And then the third one is give them a call to action. Ask them to reach out to you. Ask them, like, do you feel me? Like, because the second you ask, like, are you guys stressed too? Like, how can I help you not be as stressed? People reach out to you in the weirdest ways. It always surprises me, the responses I get from certain things, because sometimes I'll just post a random story and all of a sudden I'll have like 20 direct messages, because nobody wants to actually share their vulnerability, but they're like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with that too. And I didn't think anybody else was. Like, don't be afraid to share those vulnerable moments. And you don't want to be like the complaining person all the time, but like use your pain and experiences because other people will relate. And the coolest part about it is like, you'll actually heal yourself from it, which that's a whole other subject for another day. But using those experiences fill their pain points because you've had those yourself, address the solution, and then give them a call to action. And it sounds so simple, you guys. It really is. Like, it really is that simple. In 60 seconds of your day, you can do those stories and have that call to action. Now, if you have more time to give, which I think a lot of us in this specific industry do right now, because our doors are closed. Like, we were forced to close our doors, which I look back a few years ago as a single mom, like I said, I would have panicked. I would have had a complete meltdown for a few days. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, which I'm sure we've all done that at some point, and that's okay. But we are going to feed the fuel to our fire into something new. And that, which is amazing. We have an incredible opportunity now that is forcing us to use our affiliate program, yet still serving our customers at the same highest level that we've always promised them.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I think that's going to help a lot of people out, Ashlyn.
So I want to know who's going to jump on and do stories today. Like, comment and say, commit. I need some commitments here that you're going to promise me to jump on and just do a 60-second story. And if 3 people only watch it, that is 3 people's lives you touch. Like, that's one thing that, is it Sean Stevenson? I can never remember his name, right? But he said, like, who cares about the thousands of views or likes or whatever? He's like, if one person watches your story, that's maybe one life you changed. And who knows, like, the industry we're in, that one life might mean you saved someone's life. That one life might mean that that person got through their day without screaming at their child. That one view might be that that person just thought that there was somebody else that actually heard them and saw them. Like, that is the biggest thing I hear from people all the time is, I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. And that, like, that's what our industry is about. It's about seeing people and feeling people and hearing them to help serve them.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's really all about connection, and it's just a different mode of doing that.
Yep.
So do you have any I don't know, like books as reference or webinar, some resources that you'd recommend people read or watch to maybe hone their skills?
I really just think start following those people that are having success. And you know that those people that are having success are the ones that have, there's 2 elements. They have a decent sized following, but there's engagement. You'll see people with 10, 15, 20,000 followers and there's no comments, there's no likes. That person has probably bought their following. Cool, okay, move on next. But it's the person that has that engagement, there's comments going on. I think the Melise page is a great resource. I think if you're not already following most people within the Melise page, like, that right there is a huge benefit to you. Like, you guys can support and uplift each other because you guys are in different areas of the country and you guys all serve a different audience. Even if you're both selling weight loss, like I said, you're different people. Like, you're going to attract different people. So it totally works. But I don't think there's like webinars to really go watch. Like, I don't think you need to go buy a book or a program. I really just think you need to go find people that you enjoy following and model them, but then change it to what you are wanting to do with it. You really can do this with any type of influencer. Like, I've seen people selling barbecue sauce that I'm like, oh, I love that. How can I apply that to health and fitness and wellness? And then I'll just kind of like log it. There's processes you can build out, but I think right now people just need to get out and start talking. Talk about the pain in your day, how you're going to solve the problem, and then give them a call to action.
That's great. So what do you see as the greatest advantages for spa owners, salon owners, even some of their key employees? What do you see some of the greatest advantages for them to jump on this type of social media marketing right now?
So for right now, when I get out and talk on social media, it's me. If you're a business owner that has 1 to 10 employees, there's 10 of you talking about the same thing to the same audience, because when you're in that specific salon, You guys have a specific goal you're reaching, right? And if you don't, you need to find it. And it's no different than, like, let's say David's a spa owner. Well, yeah, we're going to say David's a spa owner right now. And what he wants his clients, or his employees to reach for is one specific thing. Don't try to go out there and promote weight loss and skincare and wellness. Like, you've got to find one thing that you're going to go promote. It might only be for the next month. It might be for 2 months. You're going to promote that one thing, but you're going to get so good at talking about that one thing. And all your employees are going to get so good at talking about that one thing that's where the transition is going to happen. That's where the magic's going to start to happen. And like I said, you've got all those people talking about that same one thing. Like, it's just that multiplying of the masses. I see one of the questions in the comments. It says that I mentioned that getting only 1 or 2 views is okay. If a viewer is watching a story, do they judge based on lack of views? The person watching your story does not know how many people have seen your story. That's the nice thing. Only you know how many people have actually seen your story. It's different if you do like a video post, like a stagnant post, then people can see how many views are on there. But when it comes to stories, it doesn't matter. People can't see that. And if they're going to judge you based on lack of views, you don't want that person as a customer. We're like, and I can say this because I've been that person that was like desperate to like have a person just sit in my chair so I could cut their hair or color it, like panicking how I was going to pay my rent or how I was even going to like pay groceries or my heat bill. Like, I've been there. I've done that. Like, I feel your pain. And I've also been on the other side. And if you're worried about that person judging you, you're wasting so much energy on those people that are never going to be your customer, versus if you have one person that sees your video and one person that reaches out to you and says, I need help, and you serve that one person, you've made money, right? Like, who cares about what's going on over there? Which I know, again, it's so much easier said than done. Just repetition is key in this. Like, just keep going. Just keep going. In 5 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, this pandemic was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. If you just keep going.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Cause I know, again, it's, there are lots of sources of anxiety for people as they're trying something new. So thank you so much for clarifying that one, Ashlyn.
Yeah.
So I guess, kind of going down the road here a little bit more. So what will people lose if they don't do this now?
Someone else is going to take your business right now. Honestly, like, I know that sounds super mean to say, but if you don't start doing this, your people are out there searching for solutions right now. Here's a great example. I haven't done hair for over 2.5 years. The salons here in Utah got shut down a week ago or so. I can't tell you how many messages, like, not exaggerating, probably 50 messages in the first 2 days going, what am I going to do? My kid needs a haircut. I have gray hair. I need a haircut. My husband. And all these hairstylists just shut their doors. Not one of them thought, how can I still serve my customer? So what did their client do? I haven't touched anyone's hair for 2 years. They started coming back to me because they're like, do you know what? Ashlyn will give me a solution. She's going to take action. She's a go-getter. What's she going to do to help me? So my friend Yada, we were talking because she was one that reached out to me and said, I have gray hair. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I still have to record videos and be in front of clients. Like, I can't have these bad boys poking out. And I'm going, and so she's like, let's do a Facebook Live. I was like, okay, I can talk about hair all day long. So we hop on there and I realized, like, if you don't serve your client, they will go find it from somebody else. So right now, more than ever, you've got to get in your client's face and just keep offering value. Because what happened was I went and recorded a crappy video. I literally sat my 9-year-old down and cut his hair and talked about it. And it has like a couple hundred views at this point, a half a dozen comments. I haven't done hair in 2 years and it's got this many views, this many comments. I have like 10, 15 direct messages going, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Thank you. So just by the consistency of me putting it out there and serving other people's customers, they're like, thank you. Like, I could turn that into a profit center, and trust me, it's like so hard for me not to right now because that's not where my heart is and my passion. But if you're a hairstylist, like people are waiting for that. If you're helping people with weight loss, like people are waiting for you to still help them. Like there's a joke going around called the COVID 15, like freshman 15. I don't find that as a joke. Like that like breaks my heart more than anything right now. We need to be focusing on our health and being healthier and exercising more now than ever, because having a great immune system is what's going to protect us. And people think it's funny that they're gaining 15 pounds in the last couple weeks. Like that actually like hurts my heart knowing they're putting themselves at a greater risk. Your people are begging for your help right now. Don't think they're not, because they are.
I think that's a really, really important point, is that, you know, each of our business owners and some of our key people that they work with, they have a group of people that really only they can reach and can speak to. And I think that's a really important thing to bring up.
And I think some people might be at a point in their lives, like I know for me, part of why I transitioned out of doing hair, I couldn't stand on my feet for 15, 17 hours a day. That's how long I was working every single day. My body physically couldn't handle it anymore. So to know that there was an opportunity for me to make a shift and take my business more online, like that would have been a game changer for me in the moment. And now that's like what I've been able to do. But I'm looking at all these people that are so used to like just the grinding. You may never go back to being that in person. You might become your greatest expert in serving your clients, because people are looking for ease right now. And they have been for the last couple of years. And I think a lot of us are so slow to adapt because we feel like we're going to lose that in-person connection. And I joke all the time, my best friends live in Canada. My best friends live in Idaho. Like my best friends do not live in the same state. I see them once, maybe twice a year. But I feel a greater connection with them because we get on a call like this, we communicate through social media, we have that relationship. And that is a better relationship than I don't know if I should admit this publicly, than I have like with my own family, but that's by choice. Like I have chosen to give my time and energy to those relationships because they want to give back to me, rather than sometimes we have family that isn't like in our corner, and that's totally fine. But you can connect with these people on such an intimate level. You don't have to be sitting in the same room with them.
That's awesome. I think that's really important, is to, you know, find your cheerleaders.
Totally. And I mean, I don't get me wrong. I do think personal connection is huge, but we're just in a time right now where like our personal connection has to be like 6 feet away or through a computer. And if you focus on the good in that and the value in that, like it's going to be fine. Like, again, remember, what you feed, you will fuel.
That's true. So are there some outstanding female entrepreneurs out there who inspire you?
Oh yes, there's lots. I think first and foremost, and I think this one is like just her story is amazing and almost everyone knows who she is Sara Blakely of Spanx. If you don't know her story, and you need to go read it. She started her company with $5,000 and is a billionaire. Like literally a female entrepreneur billionaire, never took on capital. Like her story is amazing. She's got 4 darling kids. Like she was 30 years old before she ever got married. And so like her story, just like, I want to be the next Sara Blakely. Like I probably will never make that kind of money, and that's okay. But I want to be able to give in the way she gives. Another one that I actually really love, she's actually local to Utah, and she's not the entrepreneur that you would necessarily consider an entrepreneur, but her name is Kristen Andrus. Her husband is the CEO of Traeger Grills. But I love the entrepreneurship she has in service. The amount of service she gives will blow your mind. She's a mom of 6 kids. She loves her husband with her whole heart and then some. And I love that she's so vulnerable, and she talks about the good, the bad, and ugly in business, life, marriage, everything. I think she's a great person to follow. I think she's very encouraging. She's very uplifting, and she has a great model of service. And I think that's what we need to remember at the end of the day. We are giving service, we are providing services. And that's what it's all about, is helping people. And then the third person I would say is, her name is Simply Sadie Jane, on Instagram and Facebook. And she is just all about empowering women. she was a stay-at-home mom, became a nurse, and her life's journey is to just empower women, which I think is like the most beautiful thing ever. So those are my top 3 babes I love to follow.
That's awesome. So as we're, kind of coming to the end of this, let's say you weren't in the position you are right now. You're still doing, or you still were doing hair, and you're kind of like, crap, what am I going to do? What would you right now to secure some stability and position yourself for growth?
I would dig my heels down into nutrition right now, and helping people with their nutrition. One thing that actually ties in this, Don just asked, do you have a schedule for posting and what types of posts, and like when you're going to put it up and how you're going to put it up? That doesn't matter. Like, don't overthink it. Honestly, what I would do today, I would, if it was me and I was in every other stylist and spa owners and spa technicians position, I would get off this call. I would do a 60-second story. I would talk about my favorite Melise product. And then I would, talk about my pain point and other people's pain points. I would talk about the solution to that pain. And then I would ask them to direct message me if they feel me, if they see me, if they hear me. And I actually, if you want, as soon as we're done, I will get off. I will think of something. I will think of a product and I will do it with it. So that way you guys have a good example, but it's also going to be authentic to like my audience and my following and what they need and to see and hear right now. So if you don't follow me already, I'm Ashlyn D on Instagram. I will go do that story for you. And then I would just find like one specific product in nutrition right now and just double down on it and talk about that and how that serves you and how it can serve other people for the next week. And if people just like aren't connecting with it, or like you start to see like, oh, I've had a few people that like that, go back and see what your video, like what did you talk about? Like what pain points did you address? I would love for some of you to like actually share these posts and stories within the group. I will come in and like with love, not be super critical, but I would love to help critique you and how you can like tweak those just a little bit. Cause sometimes I think we say and do things and then we don't. Just start putting yourself out there. Get on and do a Facebook Live for 5 minutes and talk about MRP. Like I would do that right now. If I was in everyone else's position that was still in the spa industry or salon, I would be on my freaking social media as much as I could and going live anytime I could, finding other people to go live with, asking your clients that have had great success stories. Can I bring you on my page and go live and we can talk about the process of your 12-week program? People have time on their hands right now more than they ever have. Even though people are still losing jobs, like there are a lot of people that are still working, but maybe their time's been cut back a little bit. They still have income. People have money to spend right now. And that's what our economy needs, is for people to still be spending. But with all these stores and spas and salons closed, like us as technicians, we kind of like tied our own hands in stopping and serving our people. So just put the information out there, put the value out there. Your people are going to come. And like I said, I would at least do 60 seconds of stories. I would do at least one post a day and go live for 5 to 15 minutes. And it doesn't matter if you screw up, just get on there and start talking to yourself in that screen. I promise you, you're going to feel like an idiot. Like I still like sitting here talking to David. I'm like my background's stupid. Like the dumbest things come into your head. Just do it. Just keep going, because that's what's going to keep you engaged with your customers. That's what's going to keep you excited and motivated about what you're doing and serving others. And it's also going to like keep putting money in your pocket, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. I agree. That's a great thing to do. Ashlyn, I really appreciate you coming on and investing some of your time into our audience today.
I love it. I love Melise. Most of you might not know this, like, although I did hair for 17 years and married Wallace almost 3 years ago, I was introduced to Melise 17 years ago. I stepped foot in my first salon, and 2 weeks later, a cute little girl came in selling Melise detox kits, and our entire salon did a Melise detox. Like, I've known about the Melise products forever, so it's not just like, oh, I love this, I promote it because I'm married to it. Like, I've known these products forever. Like I genuinely love the products and the ingredients and everything it stands for. And the fact that like the promoting of like women entrepreneurs, like I said, like that just makes my heart happy. I was a broke and broken woman for so long that when I see women like find their groove and like plant the flag in the ground of like, this is who I am and I can do this, like that just makes me all giddy inside.
So any last kind of words of encouragement for our audience?
I would just encourage all of you to start doing it today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Like it's so easy to procrastinate. Your people, if you haven't been serving them for the last week, they're already looking elsewhere. Don't let them do that. Like they came to you in the first place for a reason. You just got to give the information away. Like it's no secret that Whole Foods are good for you. It's no secret that MRP is going to save you for 3 to 4 hours when you don't have time to eat. It's no secret that MRP is food storage right now. Like give this information to your clients because they're begging for it. Like they really, I'm shocked at how many people keep reaching out saying, I need help and I don't know who can help me. Like there are so many of you guys right now that have the tools and knowledge to help serve people. One quick thing is Dawn just asked, do you change locations for your stories? So you have different backgrounds. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like sitting in the gym. Sometimes I'm hiding in my closet because my kids are screaming. I like to do stories outside because nobody in my family can hear me talking. Like I really am not weird about hearing myself. It's just something I need to get over. I'll do them walking down the street. I'll do them in a grocery store. I don't care if people are staring at me. I'd rather have like complete strangers staring at me than my own kids listening to me because my kids are critical and make fun of me. But don't worry, don't get caught up in like the nitty gritty. Just start publishing. And just start publishing and like take your like energy level up like 30% of what it normally is. Cause like I said, it's like they say the camera adds 10 pounds. Is that what it is? Like the camera takes your energy down like 30%. So you're going to feel like a spaz. You're going to feel like you're over the top and like use your hands to talk with. People love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ashlyn. I so appreciate you joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Insights. That was absolutely fantastic. And I personally have learned a lot from you and Wallace on doing these videos with regard to energy projection. You know, I looked back at some of my earlier ones and I was like, wow, I put me to sleep. But you're so right. Just throwing so much energy into it.
And if you ever think like, well, look at someone, their stuff's so polished, like scroll back like a year and go look at their posts and stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm good. No worries. Like everyone had to start somewhere. Don't let the shiny like object syndrome get to you. Like just publish, get your information out there to people.
That's fantastic. All right. So thank you so much for joining us today, Ashlyn. So just a little bit of wrap up information. I'm going to go ahead and post some information over the video here as you're looking at timeline on the Facebook. Also, be sure to join us tomorrow, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. Alex is going to be on here. She is going to be doing our Contour certification course. If you have not done this before, this is a great time to join it. We'll give you all the follow-up information, everything you need to do to actually get in process to get your certification complete. If you have done it before and you'd like to recertify, this is also an incredible opportunity and time to do that. Alex and I will both be active and following up on that with everybody. Make sure we get your certifications and everything done. And then lastly, on Friday, I'm going to be back on here and I'm actually going to be talking about a subject that I'm particularly interested in as nutrition and longevity. So we're going to geek out on that a little bit too. But again, most importantly, join us tomorrow. Be here for Alex. She's got a lot to share. She's got a lot of important things to say about Contour. Be prepared so that when your business comes back online, Alex is going to give you all the information you're going to need to do that. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you. Love you all. And we will see you tomorrow with Alex. Take care.
Thanks, guys.